So we're excited to be here. I've been in the KX community for about 11 years. My name's William Mayott. This is Guillaume Torrente. We're with XBTO. So excited to be here. This is my first KXCon. I guess you guys didn't have it for a couple years, but excited to be here. So XBTO, we're a crypto-based financial services company. I sit on the streaming markets desk, which is our e-dealing desk, sort of a algo market making desk. We'll introduce XBTO a little bit. This is a little bit of a commercial for XBTO, and then we'll get to the commercial for KX, which, you know, the Kool-Aid that everybody is drinking. Rightly so. We're all KX evangelists. And then we'll talk about, you know, the system, some about, and then we'll get into crypto specific topics. So XBTO, we're in a bunch of things, market making, asset. This is, you know, not particularly relevant for this. We're in Miami. We're Paris. We're a sponsor of the Inter Miami soccer team. We moved to Miami a couple years ago, and you know we're excited to be in Miami and part of that environment. We have traditional finance guys. Our founders are SAC Capital. A lot of people from traditional banks. My background was a tutor. I actually, this was a pivot. I didn't mean to be a sort of a combo KX tech person. I initially was a business person, and the trend for tech and trading, they merged. And if you don't understand the tech, you don't really understand the trading. So through a couple of roles, I sort of grew into that. Oops. So streaming markets, I mentioned already, is our market making desk. We stream pricing into exchanges all over the world. We have private counterparties as well. We do OTC. I focus on the Delta One products. We do have an option desk, which is another person that manages that. And you're my lead engineer. So I kind of mentioned this. I kind of thought I was a tutor. I thought I was going to be like a Paul Jones, like breaking the bank of England, and then that changed, right? So 2008, we have quantitative easing, we have the financial crisis. Everything converges to one, and basically my portfolio manager was like, you're either risk on or you're risk off, right? So your opportunity to sort of grow as a PM was sort of capped, right? So I moved to another firm that was a high frequency firm. It was where I was introduced to Andrew Wilson. He was the CTO of the company. Some of the other folks that were in the KX community, Dan Wilson, Dan Walsh, James Kindrigan. I mean, it's a small community. And we had, at that company, it was a lot of the KX consultants were long-term employees, and that's where I really got introduced to KX as a database, but also the powerful, elegant solution of it as an event processor and like a real-time engine. Do you want to talk about your?
Yeah. So my name is Guillaume Torrente. I couldn't match the beautiful picture of Bill, so that's more what I look like in real life. So I worked in SocGen, Bank of America, Credit Suisse, always building trading systems. And I was not part of the KDB community until Bill started to introduce KDB on his desk, and I started to work with him. So I had the luck to work next to Nick, but I didn't get anything from him. So unfortunately, my level of Q is very bad. And yes, so I joined XBTO 1.5 years ago, started to work on it, took over all what Bill was doing on the side, from the tech side, and everything was in Q, so steep learning curve, but very elegant system, and to his credit, he built a whole trading system, so he has not only the data stored, but he has also the fixed connectors to the exchange, web, could be all kind of connectors, it could be fixed over WebSocket, he has REST APIs to everything. He gathers all the data and push everything in this database, So he did all of that by himself. And so publishing quotes, computing indicators. I joined, and Bill just said, oh, that's all what I have. And we had other trading systems, mainly C#, a very C# shop, so quite good also for trading. But given all what he has developed in XBTO, and also what they have developed on the C# side, my goal was a bit to merge both and try to find a balance between the two with a very small team, because we were basically 3 people at the beginning. So it was quite a challenge, and slowly, and I'm going to transit to the maybe next slide. Yes, slowly, I realized that yes, KX, KDB could be a very good alternative for us, at least for Bill's desk, and maybe also to propagate and compute all the indicators that you guys all know. So Alex, yesterday you presented exactly what you tried to do. So yeah, we are just, the presentation of Alex yesterday, we are just at the early stage, and we tried to build everything based on what Bill did. So Bill, if you want to talk a bit about your platform.
Sure. I mean, so we're in crypto, but it's not all that different from like a FX type shop, right? So crypto is a currency, right? Initially, it was very much well, it was like FX, but they would leave out the value date field at first, and you couldn't short, right? But that's evolved. It's also, you know, there's some differences in that there's not really a prime broker model. Everything is margined separately. You have to have collateral on all different exchanges. You know, so it's not the capital efficiency that FX has. There's also settlements, right? So in FX, nobody ever takes delivery of euros. They do overnight rolls. They push it forward. You get dollar residuals. And you know, but like crypto, you actually have to do spot delivery daily. So there's additional layers on top. But all the traditional tools of, you know, attribution analysis or markouts, which Alex was talking about yesterday, where you're policing the flow for toxic flow, and you know, we actually do persist that because once 8 minutes has passed, you pretty much have the whole path dependency of the trade, and you can put that in your KDB database as well, so that people can go back later and they don't have to do the as of join at the time. And they can just, you know, do different aggregations, different constraints to pick out, okay, this based on this ticket size or this arrival rate, or, you know, to find, you know, the pockets of toxic flow. The system is, you know, it's a KDB plus tick architecture, which is very elegant for time series trading. We have the things on top that Johnny Press helped us with. You know, like, you know, you have compression, you have multiple HTTPs, you have gateways, and then you have, you know, that also feeds your quoting engine, your hedging engine, your risk engine. It's a very elegant solution, and then also you have your real-time monitoring for toxicity. So, you know, we do use the KX dashboard for for visualization. I think we're one of the few that uses an old Delta Excel just for some reporting, you know, back office stuff, and we're starting to move towards using some of the Python libraries integrations. So, you know, really happy with the support that KX has for, you know, starting to try and build the tent of people that can use KDB and KX.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Yeah, Bill started a platform that was solely, trading and gathering a bit of data. We had a lot of scrapers and a lot of different exchanges. So actually, the volume of data that we have, it's a small company, but we're already talking in dozens of terabytes of data, because even if you have one BTC, you have many, many exchanges that have it, and we want to collect all of that. So despite the fact that we are quite small, we gather a lot of data, and it's the challenge that I have now. So Bill has the trading platform with the few exchanges that he was interested in. We collected a lot of data that are in different other kind of formats. And my goal, with the help of Rachel that helped us so much, is to just extend Bill's platform and try to have all the data handling made directly in KDB. So I need to ingest the 30 terabytes of data. I need to ingest what Bill produces. And I'm trying to set up all of that being quite new to Q. So for me, it's the last 6 months, so I should be able to go to production maybe next week or the following week. Big help from Johnny as well. Thank you for all that. At the time, AquaQ helped us a lot. Now Data Intellect is going to help us a lot as well. Yeah, based out, so Torque on top of all the systems. So Bill was really vanilla KDB plus, but you had Torque as well. And I'm moving everything using Torque to try to help me to save some time. I have only 2 cores so far, so probably the smallest in the audience. I'm trying to do all that with those 2 cores and see if it scales well. I should be able to get more budget to try to scale the platform up. We tried many other databases, so KDB was not the first choice for us. We tried other databases because people were a bit scared of Q. I think it's something that is quite common for the people that are not already evangelists. When you first arrive, there is a lot of people tell you just, okay, KDB, okay, it's fast and all that, but anyway, you cannot, I mean, you can't code using Q, so just forget, discard the database. Bill was very good at convincing me that this was wrong. Q is a nice language, but I still have, within the company, so we have few desks, and I still have some difficulties trying to sell our solution to the other desks, because when I go to a quant, they are already completely overloaded with work on doing their quant stuff. Same for the data analyst, same for other trading desk. And like, guys, cool. Now just learn this language and it's gonna be great. You're gonna be doing some crazy stuff. And so people are like, man, I don't really have time for that. So it's changing slowly because of the evangelism of Bill and now myself. But what we really loved is the PyKX. That is, for me, helping a lot trying to sell the product to our smaller team. And I think I talk to I know a lot of people in smaller companies, and that's always pretty much the same thing. Oh, it's Q, forget about it. No, guys, just try a bit more. And I think what you guys are doing with PyKX is great because it's going to probably help KX and KDB to be adopted even by smaller firms. So, okay, it's not hundreds of $1,000 contracts for you, but I think the community becoming bigger and bigger, I think it could really help you to become a bigger database vendor, because it's great, it's fast and everything. And the issue I always have is this. It's like, okay, forget about it, it's Q. I'm like, no, try. So we have integration with many different things. So the shop, as I told you, was more a C# shop with MySQL databases, quite classical. So we connect KDB to various things. We have Kafka integration for all our feeders. And it's quite easy. But still, I think, with the guidance of everyone in KX and Data Intellect, it's easier. But I think, a bit of improvement could be done on that. Yep. So, for me, that's pretty much what I told you. We have quant research, trading analytics, and all the monitoring. That's also quite nice with Grafana, with the integration with Grafana and all that. I covered pretty much already all that. So I'm trying to set up all of these things alone, not doing Q. Quite of a challenge, but database has been running great so far. No speed issue, because obviously you guys have a lot bigger data sets than we do. But the goal is going for me to have all those signals and everything computed directly in KDB, so we don't really have to have the quants recomputing a moving average or anything. We would have everything directly in KDB, computed there, ready to be used. So from Python, they could just extract the data, so trying to minimize the back and forth between KDB and the Python side. One thing we should absolutely mention is that obviously being a bit small, we are trying to have a hybrid approach between bare metal and a bit cloud, because it can save us some money. But we have, and it's something that I think you guys address in Insight with the caching, we ended up paying a lot of money in in just ingress cost from AWS, to and from AWS actually. So we hope, so first I build a platform, that's gonna be, otherwise not gonna last long. I build a platform and then we'll see if we can move part of it in the cloud, and if the caching is good enough, we will be able to reduce the cost, and we will be able to get rid of the bare metal, because it's going to fail at one point and I will be in big trouble. So if you have everything in AWS, it's going to be a lot easier to respond on your server. So that's one of the things that is down, in the pipeline.
How much time do we have? So we
could
get to the...
I'm always talking a lot. Sorry, French bias.
Yeah, so this is some of the difference. I mentioned some of these. Some of the exchanges, so in traditional finance, a lot of the exchanges are all in data centers. In crypto, a lot of the, I mean, especially in early days, some of the exchanges were just in the cloud, which changes kind of the connectivity, and there's latency considerations. So it's not quite like everybody's on, as it was like for FX exchanges, everybody's in data centers. There is the physical settlements, so we are not using KDB to monitor and KX to monitor our positions, but also the settlement piece, and we're also keeping track of like our collateral, our margin usage, our net open position. We're breaking down our positions by, we're keeping track of our positions by pairs, but also by buckets to break those down, and we can see our, our net open positions, our, risk by bucket, correlation matrices. There's not always fungibility, right? So these exchanges, there's no prime broker, there's no central give up. So if you're long on one exchange and short on another, there's no margin relief, there's no, you don't get credit for that, right? So there's fungibility considerations. So like when you're looking at your overall delta, right, you would consider that internally, but you can't, those exchanges don't see that, right? There's no offset that they see. There's some primes that are working on like, there's Hidden Road, there's a couple places that are starting to try to solve the prime brokerage issue, but and then sometimes the exchanges have latency. It really depends. The big ones have sort of figured this out by now, and yeah.
Yeah, the last point was quite nice. The fact that in a live trading platform, I can pretty much connect to any process and just go right there and see and debug. While in C#, I cannot just go on a server and just go start debugging. Here, I can see all the inside, which is great, which is a great thing. Obviously, you should not, as Nick said, you should not give this ability to everyone. But the fact that you can just go in there, see exactly what is running at that point, you just switch off the order flow, so you don't have orders going out, but at least you can just see what is wrong, why your order is 10 times the size it should be. And so this is a great feature of KDB that completely solved.
Yeah, I guess maybe we can mention just, so we market make to exchanges. We also have relationships with protocols, right? Where we're sort of making for a token itself across many exchanges. And then we also contribute to oracles. So these are, sort of central repositories for pricing that blockchains can use to sort of settle contracts. So I mean, those are the sort of the couple pillars that we focus on. We're all active in option market making as well, but that's not specifically our desk, which is Delta One. But this, that's enough to keep us busy. I don't know. Are we about time?
Yes,
questions?
Almost.
Yeah. Oh, 5 minutes? Okay. Any questions?
No.
Andrew?
You see the market crypto changing and becoming more like traditional FX?
I do. I think that it needs to happen. I think that, when you get the margin relief and cross netting and the capital efficiency of like a prime model, it makes it a lot more scalable. And FTX, I mean, not to bring up, but like FTX, where the exchange also is custodying your assets, is kind of that model is kind of questionable, right? And these exchanges they get away with it because that's just, they're kind of only a few big exchanges and that's what they do. But FX is different. Like, you don't have to have your collateral per se on the exchange. You can have it with some central counterparty that guarantees your credit to trade on those exchanges. And there's give up, your trades get there, and it's a much more elegant solution. I think it needs to get there. We are noticing, value date is now a thing in crypto, right? And so like when I was first doing crypto, it was kind of like, okay, everything is on exchange. You're not really moving around. Now, we have, the futures. There's perpetual swaps. There's spot for immediate delivery. T+0 essentially. So that's converging, and also all the traditional HFT shops are here, and of course they're sort of modifying their code base, which is based on traditional finance for crypto. So there's going to be like forced comparisons. Yeah, I think it is a more. We had a period of excess. This whole NFT, and I'm not really an NFT person. I'm a safety of collateral person. I was a macro person, and I was there and when quantitative easing, and you see the stuff that's going on with regional banks right now, where like if your money is in a bank, I am not trying to start a bank run here, but like it's not when your assets is somebody's liability, it's not an asset, right? And some of these cryptos, in particular Bitcoin, that's what got me in to the space. Is it's held outside the system. You can custody it yourself. You're not relying on somebody to perform. You have it yourself, right? I think the world needs that, right? That's why I'm in this space. And then some of this other stuff, the NFT and that's kind of, there's a lot of speculation and sort of people, YOLOing retail, just kind of trading for maybe because they're bored, which I think is good to kind of put that down. We want to have sober people trading because they have a reason to, not just kind of punting. So I think it's moving that way. This year's been good. Last year was difficult. We had a lot of companies kind of bow out and have lots of counterparty issues, people losing collateral. But this year has been a good year so far. There's less. The volumes are down. Less people are in the actively trading, but there's less competition. There's a lot of things going for it. So, any other question? Yeah.
What's different about, say, your execution side for either collateral or hedging to various chains between KX and say traditional FX shop and you?
What's different about our? So we're quoting, right? So we're making markets, and we can't really induce customer flow, right? We can be attractive on one side, or if we have more collateral on one exchange, we might be a natural, and it's risk reducing for that particular exchange, right? Not necessarily risk reducing for our overall position, but just to sort of free up collateral for that exchange. Then we might augment our pricing to try and manage the inventories across the different places, because we haven't solved that visibility problem. But in terms of the hedging, you have your price risk or basis risk, right? So you can move between them, but you can't. So you want to try to hedge it in right? So if you have a Bitcoin, you can hedge it with Bitcoin perpetual, but it's not. You have a funding rate, so the perp and the spot aren't necessarily perfectly correlated. But you want to try and. So there's not necessarily the exact fungibility that you would have in FX, for example, where a euro is a euro. You buy it on Reuters and you sell it somewhere else. It ends up in your prime. They offset. Whereas in crypto, not really. You can hedge the price risk, but you're still going to need to unwind them separately because they're on different exchanges and they can't. That.
Reference data that you build for fungibility is not something you guys have done yourself?
Yeah, we're keeping track of whether or not spot versus margin products versus perpetual swap products, and there's also like the quant people, they're looking for that stuff for signals as well, right? Because sometimes the leverage products move first, or that's where the sort of the retail is. So there's the stuff you normally look at in FX of like order book imbalances or deletion of orders, arrival rates. That's all similar. And KX does all of that. So.
The inventory management is really a big thing for crypto.
Yeah. Well, that's true in any currency market making. It's essentially you have an inventory. You want turnover, margin, right? So your per millions on what you're making, and that's true. Alex was talking about the attribution curves of like at inception, your per million is always the highest, right? And you have immediate decay. And so we're looking at a period of like, we'll look at, at inception, next tick after that, and then we'll start going into like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, right? And there's an attribution curve. Are we time? Oh yeah. We're getting the hook. And that's very telling about, if there's people that are informed traders or you have late quotes to monitor for like either latency or toxic flow. And so we've built a platform where we can see this on our dashboards. We do have it feeding in real time in addition to our, our position. We do have the real time attributions coming in. And so we can see like a heat map of, okay, where is the, we're doing well in this, and there's, maybe we should pay attention to, dig deeper into this particular exchange or this counterparty or this, aggregation. So I guess we're done, yeah? Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.